Many of us have an electric water heater at home, which we use to produce hot water. But how many people actually know what an electric water heater looks like on the inside? In this video, we'll look at it not just out of curiosity to see what it looks like inside, but above all to understand its structure and therefore how it works, so that in case of any problems, we'll know how to act to restore it to proper working order. Let's start by cutting along the entire circumference at the bottom of the water heater, removing the outer metal sheet. Next, we proceed to carefully remove the pressure relief safety valve and the two red and blue rings, which serve to clearly identify the cold water inlet and the hot water outlet, respectively. We pry and detach them. The metal part will help us observe how it is made. As soon as it's opened, you immediately notice the insulating foam covering the tank inside. With the tip of a screwdriver, we start to remove it so we can better see the internal structure. You can see that there is nothing else between the tank and the insulating layer. Now we move to the front part where the dial with the needle indicating the water heating level is located. We unscrew it and cut the metal sheet here as well. Once the foam has been removed, we can see that the surface, in this case as well, is completely smooth. Now that we've taken a look at how the entire external structure is made, let's focus on how the heating element is structured. What we find here is basically this part, which is nothing more than the thermostat, so the probe. On this you can also set the desired temperature inside. This specialized probe is powered by electrical voltage through these two specific connectors, labeled as 1 and 2. From this point here, the voltage also passes directly to the internal wires that power the small indicator light, which signals to the user that the unit is currently switched on. The probe itself is securely inserted deep inside the heating element. So to remove it, you just need to carefully pull it outwards in a steady motion. Because here there is a tube that is basically closed on the opposite side, so water cannot pass through. This probe detects the temperature inside the water heater tank, and as soon as it reaches the set temperature, it shuts off the heating element. The heating element, on the other hand, is fixed and located inside. In order to successfully access the internal heating element, you will first need to carefully unscrew this specific bolt that securely fastens it along with this metal bracket directly to the main water heater tank. Once we are able to firmly grab hold of it from this position, we can proceed to unscrew this remaining bolt and then gently remove this entire bracket assembly from the unit. The heating element is then free and can obviously be removed. Here we can immediately see that the magnesium anode has been completely sacrificed. Let's show an image of how it looks in its initial state. And let's remember that it corrodes in place of the internal structure of the boiler, protecting it until it is depleted. Instead, the heating element is all of this. This is the tube we saw earlier, where it basically fits in. As we can observe in this specific close-up detail, the specialized probe is designed to allow for the steady passage of electrical voltage that originates from the various connections located on the probe itself and then travels directly into the internal heating element to facilitate the warming process. So there is this power supply passing through the two poles of the heating element, which is interrupted when the thermostat reaches the set temperature. We've already seen the tube inside. It fits perfectly into this specialized duct and is not in direct contact with the water at any time, since the duct is completely closed at its far end. The heating element, in turn, is securely attached to this mounting block, where there is a high-quality gasket that seals it very firmly to the main tank. This is a heavy-duty steel tank, so it is designed to be very durable and long-lasting for the user. And to successfully detach and remove the heating element, you will notice that there is this small mounting screw. located right here. That secures it. To the mounting bracket on the tank. We can see that inside this bracket always has a rubber part, which is the gasket, and there is also this gasket on the heating element itself, which when inserted inside, it is designed to fit perfectly and securely against the primary main sealing gasket and the specialized mounting gasket on the tank, which effectively prevents any water from passing through the seal. Another specific thing that we clearly noticed on the water heater unit is the visible presence of some residue on the outside surface of the little indicator needle, which shows at the moment I can't find the indicator needle anymore. In any case, it shows the progress of the water heating. This process occurs with a very simple dual action system designed for heating this part. Here then, through the spring, it acts directly on the internal mechanism which, by creating this effect and by sending out heat, causes the needle to begin its ascent. This part here, the component is currently in direct physical contact with the tank. We observed this clearly from the external side where we previously cut it, but it definitely does not penetrate into the inside of the tank. Therefore, the thermal energy is gradually transmitted to it from the heating process that first occurs within the water, and then subsequently passes through to the tank itself. The entire outer perimeter part of the circular circumference of this large tank, as we can clearly see here, is completely filled with a thick layer of protective insulating foam. So this means, or rather, it manages to contain some of the heat loss from the tank through the foam. If there were no foam, obviously, the heated water would cool down very quickly, dissipating the heat to the outside. Instead, this layer of foam is present both on the upper part. As we saw earlier, we removed it, and it's also on the lower and side parts. It allows the heat to remain trapped inside, or at least causes the heat to dissipate much more slowly over time. Before concluding the video, let's look inside the tank. We can notice, besides the presence of sediment, that the hot water outlet pipe runs vertically through it, almost the entire water heater, so as to draw water from a high point. Remember that when you turn on the hot water, it is through this pipe that the water flows. The cold water inlet pipe, on the other hand, is positioned low. This allows cold water to enter when the tap is opened. It raises the water level, pushing the hot water above to be drawn out.